Hi, English to be. Hello, ma'am. Hello, everybody. My name is Jensen Ramos Abajo, and today we are going to learn about the problem solving and creativity and creative problem solving. So, without further ado, let's get started. At the end of this lesson, the learners will be able to identify the four criteria of creativity by Torrance, practice creative thinking, and apply problem-solving skills. So let me first introduce to you the man behind this concept, who is known around the world as father of creativity for his nearly 60 years of research that became the framework for the field of gifted education. He was Professor Emeritus of Educational Psychology, invented the benchmark method for quantifying creativity, and arguably created the platform for the research on the subject since. He is Edward Paul Torrance from 1915 to 2003. A common framework for creative thinking processes is described by Torrance, and each aspect is defined along with ways to facilitate the respective aspect by using keywords and application activities. So the first aspect is fluency. Fluency is the production of great number of ideas or alternate solutions to a problem. It is also implies understanding, not just remembering. Fluency is a count of the relevant responses where the stimulus is used and identifiable. The keywords are compare, convert, count, define, explain, identify, label, list, match, name, outline, paraphrase, predict, and summarize. In fluency, when we are asked to list things that are commonly read, the things that comes to our minds are apple, like blood, tomato, heart, rose, red-nosed reindeer, and a lot more. So that's fluency, having a great number of ideas and solutions. Alright? Second is the flexibility. Flexibility refers to the production of ideas that shows a variety of possibilities of realms of thought. It is the ability to see things from different perspectives. The keywords are change, demonstrate, distinguish, employ, extrapolate, interpret, and predict. In flexibility, it is how we group the ideas about read into categories. So the example categories are fruit, and apple belongs to this category, right? Yes. Next is safety measure. Fire exit signage belongs to this category. And vehicles and fire truck belongs to this category. One categories are identified. And fluency may be further demonstrated by generating more ideas about the idea of read within categories. The third aspect is elaboration. It is the process of enhancing ideas by providing more details. Any extra details such as decorations, titles, shading, dimension, and body position are all under elaboration, adding ideas beyond the minimum needed. The keywords are appraise, critic, determine, evaluate, grade, judge, measure, select, and test. In elaboration, it describes all the possible characteristics of the red quality in a wagon. For example, the shade, the finish, the texture, and the uniformity. Alright, so the fourth aspect is the originality. It is the production of ideas that are usual or unique. This involves synthesis or putting information about a topic back together in a new way. In originality, it is like writing an unusual title for the ideas about red. For example, revolutionary red representation. Our next topic is about creative problem solving. In general, it is important to learn how to solve problems creatively, whether it is educational or for outside purposes, or for real-life situation, because the ability that we will acquire will help us in our future job as future educators to help our future students solve problems, right? Yes. The creative problem solving has been developed by Mr. Alex Osborne of 1888 to 1966. He was an American advertisement executive and educator. Dr. Sidney Barnes of 1922 to 2013. He was an American psychologist and educator. Later contributed by many others like Noller, Feuerstein, Isaacson, Treflinger, and Dorval. The steps guide the creative process. They will tell you what to do at each immediate step in order to eventually produce one or more creative, workable solutions. A unique feature is that each step first involves a divergent thinking phase in which one generates lots of ideas, like facts, problem definitions, ideas, evaluation criteria, and implementation strategies. And then a convergent phase in which only the most promising ideas are selected for further exploration. So first we have the objective finding, or they call it mess finding. Synthesize yourself. Synthesize mean scan or search for issues, concerns, challenges, opportunities that need to be tackled. So divergent techniques include brainstorming to identify desirable outcomes and obstacles to be overcome. Convergent techniques include the identification of hotspot or highlighting and selection in terms of ownership criteria. Barnes prepared a checklist of questions to prod your thinking for objective finding. They are: what would you like to get out of your life? What are your goals as yet unfilled? And what would you like to accomplish to achieve? Alright, so next we have data finding. It is to gather information about the problem. So the divergent techniques include 5 W's and H: who, why, what, when, where, and how, and listing of wants, sources, and data. List all your information once, ask a series of questions. For each, list possible sources of answers. Then follow this up, and for each source, list what you found. Convergent techniques include identifying hotspot, again, highlighting, mind mapping to sort and classify the information gathered, and also restating the problem in the light of your richer understanding of it. The checklist of questions prepared by Barnes to prod your thinking are: who is or should be involved? What is or is not happening? When does this or should this happen? When does or doesn't this occur? How does it or doesn't it occur? Why does it or doesn't it happen? And so on. Alright, so next we have problem finding. Convert a fuzzy statement of the problem into a broad statement more suitable for idea finding. Divergent technique include asking why, the repeatable questions, and 5 W's and H. Convergent techniques include highlighting again, reformulation of problem statements to meet the criteria that they contain only one problem and no criteria, and selection of the most promising statement. And the checklist of questions prepared by Barnes, again to prod your thinking, are: what is the real problem? What is the main objective? What do you really want to accomplish? Why do I want to do this? Alright, next we have idea finding. Divergence using any of a very wide range of idea generating techniques. The general rules of classical brainstorming, such as differing judgment, are likely to underpin all of these. And convergence can again involve hotspot or mind mapping the combining of different ideas, and the shortlisting of the most promising handful, perhaps the sum thought, the idea of more obvious evaluation criteria, but not over restrictively. And next we have solution finding. This is to generate and select obvious evaluation criteria using an expansion-contraction cycle, and develop which may include combining the shortlisted ideas from idea finding as much as you can in the light of these criteria. The opt for the best of these improved ideas. For example, using comparison tables. In solution finding, we have three related steps. First, criteria for evaluation listed. Second, the ideas are evaluated. Evaluation matrix is useful. Third, one or more of the best ideas are selected. And the criteria might include: will it work? Is it legal? Are the materials and technology available? Are the costs acceptable? Will the public accept it? Will higher level administrators accept it? So those are the questions that we have to consider in solution finding. And lastly, we have acceptance finding. This may involve creating an action plan, which is a plan containing specific steps to be taken and a timetable for taking them. So putting into practice. And the questions or checklist of questions that Barnes prepared. What are all the action steps that need to take place in order to implement your solution? So that's the question for everyone. What are all the action steps that need to take place in order to implement your solution? Alright, so that would be all for my report. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask after this video. Once again, my name is Jensen Ramos Abaco, and thank you for listening. Have a good day.